Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Joshua Chris podcast. Today, we've got another guest with us, our second guest for the year 2025. Victoria is going to be talking to us about her journey and some important things, in her career path. Yeah. So, how are you today?
Well, I'm very fine, thank you. I'm okay. Doing
Yeah,
great.
it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, straight up, do you wanna? I mean, all the time when I introduce my guests, I'm like, you just might want to reintroduce yourself because, I might not have done a better job at introducing you because you definitely have a lot more to say. So, do you want to introduce yourself to the audience so the people could learn about you better?
Okay, yeah, sure, definitely. First thing first, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it. So, my name is Victoria James, and currently I'm a youth corper. I'm serving in Lagos State, and so far so good. I would say that my journey so far has really been great, and I'm currently like serving at Blue Chip Technologies, and I'm serving as a DevOps engineer. No, let me say I am interning as a DevOps engineer. Yes. So yeah, that is the little thing I'll say.
That's really awesome. I do want you to go a bit further and probably, share your journey with us, your tech journey. How did it begin? What led you here? And what's your focus or passion right now?
Okay. So like my journey so far, like the path that I've taken into tech, it has been a mix of like of curiosity, of learning more, of networking and connecting with people. But I would say especially that learning more, because majority of what I've been doing is learning and then like doing some projects that are being assigned to like our own platform and our own team. And then also I also be like, okay, sometimes we also embrace like some challenges, and then it all began with like my fascination for how technology can be transformed the way we live and work. And also, I remember like being particularly drawn to problem solving and then understanding how the system operates, then which led to me like exploring more on the database administration, the big data, with also like some Kubernetes, some Jenkins, and some of the DevOps containers, I would say.
It's really awesome. So, how long have you been doing this? Do you want to give me, yeah,
Mm,
a bit?
how long? Okay, I would say last year, June. That's like how many months now? I think it's 10 months. Oh no, 11 months. June last year.
Oh, yeah, that's really awesome. All right, so what exactly do you do as a DevOps engineer?
Okay. So the thing that I mostly used to do as a DevOps engineer is that we mostly usually do like continuous integration, continuous delivery, and then we usually, okay, what I mean by that continuous integration is more like it involves you like integrating some code changes like frequently, and then delivering those changes to production like as quickly as possible. And then also we also do more of like infrastructure as code, such as like the Terraform, the Ansible, and then it also allows you to like manage some of this infrastructure code. And then also we also do like monitoring tools like using Prometheus, Grafana, and then it also help you to like track the performance of your application and then with the system. So basically you trying to like deploy applications. So those are just the things that we usually like use. And most times we usually use Docker like for the deploying of the application, and then we usually check it on site using either Eureka or any other platform.
All right. So for someone new, here, what key DevOps principles should they learn to understand and get started effectively in this field?
Okay. Like the key DevOps practice that you should learn, like the number one thing I would say is you should learn your Linux command. That's the
Okay.
number one thing that you should learn.
Okay.
Yes, because with that, you know how to go back and forth. Okay, like this is what you're going to be using, be it for Red Hat or be it for Ubuntu, depending on the operating system that you want to work with. And then apart, okay, from you now knowing that like your Linux command, then that will now make you to be like, okay, yes, like you're good to go for a system administrator. Then if you now want to go deep into the DevOps, then you have to know all of these tools. And if you know in the DevOps software life cycle, you will see where it talks about you planning, testing, building, deploying, and then also like you integrating. So it's just like a life cycle. It like goes round and round. So you just have to know more of it. And you have to like, is it practice more and you being more like consistent. And there are so many tools that you have to learn how to work with like Jenkins, Docker, also with Kubernetes. So you just have to know how to work with most of it. And also with Azure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about challenges, when deploying applications. How can developers overcome, talk about the challenges, that occur when you try to deploy an application, and how can developers, overcome these hurdles and ensure smooth launches?
Okay, so for the challenges that you're going to encounter when you're deploying application, I would like to you, it can be so very frustrating most times and it will be so pressuring, like pressure will be on you. So those challenges are like, okay, for the configuration management, like you have to do all those config because it's through that config that your application is going to work. So if you don't get it right, it will not work and you will have to troubleshoot for hours and hours. And the annoying thing is that it might be just one thing like this, but if you don't like think, is it think straight or think calmly, you just miss it all around. So for that configuration, this thing management, if you want to like solve it, you just know, okay, this is where, okay, I take for instance for NGNX or maybe for you using Apache like Java and the rest. So you have to like give it a back end of this thing, like where it is going to follow. Maybe be it like the proxy or how you want the application to work. So and then also you have to also implement like some of these rollbacks and then with downtime this thing. And with that, you have to know like all those like blue green deployment or the canary release. And also you have to also enable like the security. Like that's very important. So you have to like incorporate some of the security checks in like for the CI/CD pipelines. That's for the DevSec operations. And then also you have to use like you trying to like how will I really describe this particular one? Okay, it's just you knowing like some of those, should I say like tactics of so that your application will not have issues.
Awesome. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Microsoft Azure. Tell me about why it stands out as a platform and how should developers leverage it fully for the application needs.
So, okay, the reason why Microsoft Azure is the standout cloud platform is basically like, okay, Azure, it offers a wide range of service, like from compute and storage to AI, and also to machine learning and Internet of Things. So it's essential like for a one-stop shop for developers, enterprise, and even like startups looking to build like scalable solution. So I'll say that Azure this thing like is a much preferable in the sense that it's just basically like on cloud. Is you like trying to maybe like develop your application and it's going to be running through cloud, like even for your virtual machine, and then also like for anything that you just want to do, you know that yes, it's going to work through that. And then for some of these businesses already using the Microsoft products like the Windows server, the SQL server, or even the Office 365, that's the Microsoft 365. So Azure provides like seamless integration, and then which makes it incredibly like appealing to enterprise. So, and then apart from that too, you can also say that for like it's also this thing, a developer friendly feature such as like some of the services like Azure DevOps, in which it usually help like for developers to easily manage the CI/CD pipelines, to track projects, and then to collaborate in real time. And then Azure also supports like a wide range of programming languages and the frameworks, making it versatile for any project for it to work. And then, sorry, lastly, again,
Okay.
for also like for the global reach, you can also see that is a vast network of like with data centers like worldwide. And then the Azure, it can really help in that global reach out in the sense that it will ensure like a low latency and compliance with regional regulation.
All right. That's awesome. All right. So APIs improve systems. Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's talk about how they actually enhance apps, you know, and what are some tips for designing APIs as well? Good APIs.
Okay. Okay, so how APIs usually enhance app is through the authentication, then with also the data integration, and then with the payment gateway. So for the authentication, it just enable like a very secure user authentication using services like Google, Facebook, and GitHub. But the ones that we mostly used to use is GitHub, maybe for like for Firebase authentication, and then for like a seamless login experience. And then for your encryption APIs, it uses like libraries for Amazon Web Services, for OpenSSL, and then for third-party encryption. So the one we mostly use is the OpenSSL, and then with Amazon Web Services. Then how it also enhance for your applications through the APIs, you can also use it for the data integration, such as like your external data APIs, in which it will fetch like real-time data to enhance that's the application functionality. And maybe for instance, you can use it for like for a okay, let me say like a banking API, and then that one is just like integrate more of like their banking system to like like monitor some of their outgoing transaction process. And maybe if you want to use it for like a geolocation API, in which it should just implement like the maps and maybe location of tracking using like your Google Maps or which other map. Okay, we can also say the WhatsApp location feature app too, that you can also use that one. And then for the payment gateway too, in which you can use it for like PayPal and maybe for like Stripe APIs. So you could also use it for your that's for notification and communication. So be it maybe for sending SMS or for sending email. That's after you've already like installed that's the SSL certificate which I mentioned earlier on. So those are just basically
All right. That's very cool. So let's talk about CI/CD pipelines. They, of course, matter. How do they function? And let's talk about why they really are essential and what makes them key for developers.
okay. So earlier on, I said that CI/CD is for continuous integration or continuous deployment. So it usually ensures the automated building and then with the testing of like your applications in the sense that you want to deploy it and know how it is going. So now let us like break it down. If you want to understand the CI/CD workflow, so for the integration, it just automatically build and test code, like in the sense that it changes like their push to the repositories, and it's also like ensure that the changes do not break the application. And then for the deployment aspect, it just automate like the process of the development, like the staging, the production environment, like that's after the CI like passes. Then also you can also use a like a manual approval for your production during the deployment. So if you want to like use some of the like the high level steps to build a CI/CD pipeline. So the first thing first is you can use like a code repository, in the sense that you could just store your code like in a version control system using Git, such as like maybe GitHub or this Bit, that Bit buckets, depending on, or your Azure repo. And then also you have to like define your build triggers, as in like you decide when the pipeline should run or when it shouldn't. Then you also have to like write some of the pipeline configuration depending on the GitHub action or the GitHub CI/CD or a Jenkins. So that's it.
All right, awesome. So I want to learn about this from your experience. What's a major mistake DevOps teams often make, and how can they avoid repeating it?
Okay, so most of the mistakes that we usually make is that sometimes when they give us a particular task to do, so okay, let me just say that most DevOps we work under pressure. So when that pressure comes in, most times like we will not even think straight. So when we want to like work on something now, we could just is it should I use the word like make a mistake, or we'll just make something else, and then later on like the customers, they will not be like, why are we not doing what we are asked to do? And again, sometimes when we are asked to like, okay, we should deploy this application, this is how we want to do it. So we usually like take time, like maybe let me say 2 days, 3 days, something that we're supposed to deliver, let's say in a day, it would extend to like 3 days or maybe 2 days, depending on. So I'll just say that most DevOps work under pressure, and when we work under pressure, we won't think straight. And another challenge again that most DevOps, sorry, and like another mistake that most DevOps use make is that when it comes to troubleshoot, okay, let me say like like troubleshooting is just part of DevOps, like there are 5 and 6. So that troubleshooting itself it's just that thing that usually like messes up someone's head and all that. So if you're not patient enough, you will not stay in DevOps. Instead, you will not even cope. It will just be difficult.
All right. So what's gonna be your perfect advice for someone starting their tech or DevOps journey today?
Okay, so my advice is that I won't lie to you, DevOps is a very sweet and very nice this thing, field of tech. And if you want to come into DevOps, I'll just advise you to like go to this place and then check more courses. Maybe you could like learn more courses, and then you could also learn more of your Linux command. And then you should be familiar with projects, like how to handle projects, and then like how to troubleshoot. And then also you should also be familiar with you knowing how to like put things in order. And then always know that you are the middleman as a DevOps, because you're going to be working with literally the application team guys, database team guys. So they're just going to throw out everything to you to just deploy like the application. So you be just have to be ready for it, and they can call you at any time. So you should just brace up, and then you should learn more about CICD. You should learn more about Azure. You should learn more about WSO2. So those are just like the basic place that you can know more of DevOps.
Awesome. All right, so we're later done with all the questions prepared for today, but I just want to learn about this from you. So, very recently, Joe Rogan hosted Mark Zuckerberg on his podcast channel on YouTube, The Joe Rogan Experience, and they talked about a lot of things, but there was a section Mark Zuckerberg started talking about things related to AI and coding. So I just want to learn about this from you. What are your thoughts on the future of coding, in this day and age of AI? I mean, because right now, for instance, we have ChatGPT, we have Claude, we have different,
Copilot.
yeah, GitHub Copilot. Actually, GitHub Copilot right now is called a competitor, Cursor. Do you know about Cursor? But
Mm.
Cursor is out there, and Cursor is like an AI code editor. So think about not just having an extension installed like GitHub Copilot, but Cursor itself, it's the editor. So lots of AI platforms are out there, with beautiful functionalities and stuff like that. So I'm just thinking about, how far we've come in a space of, a few years. So given that, in today's day and age of AI, what are your thoughts on the future of coding?
Okay, so my thought on the future of coding is that I know that it should be very transformative, and then it will be driven by advanced technology in the sense that it will be changing, and then more industries like, should I say, like they will just evolve into like human computing interactions. And then, okay, just like you mentioned, we have more of like the AI driven development. And right now, we currently have some of these AI assistants coding, in the sense that it can just help you to complete, it can help you to build your own code. Maybe if you want to do an application, or you want to just do like work on something. So it will help you to even do everything that you want to do. And then I also like developers can just focus on like a higher level design and logic rather than like the syntax. And then yeah, and then for the advanced AI models, it may just enable like natural languages based on full stack development. Yeah, and then also I think in the field of this quantum computing and then new programming paradigm, it will just help developers to like learn more on like the Q sharp, and then some of these hybrid systems combining both the classical and then with the quantum computing, like they will all emerge. Yeah, and yeah, that what I think.
Awesome. I've had such a great conversation with you today, and I do want to say a big thank you. Thanks for coming on for Growing to This. Yeah, it's a pleasure having you on the George Chris podcast. I mean, you shared your journey with us, your knowledge and insights. Pretty awesome. It's great to have you here. All right, so I've got a question for you.
What question?
Are you subscribed to all my channels, my YouTube channels?
Yeah, I'm on your YouTube channel. I'm on even LinkedIn. Yes.
Okay. Do you want to tell the people to like the video and subscribe to the channel?
Yes, please. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment.
Awesome. Well, it was great to have you, Victoria. Thank
Okay.
you. And yeah, do you want to say anything in the last words?
No. Okay, yeah, just thank you for having me once more again, Joshua. I really appreciate.
You're welcome. All right. Do have a beautiful rest of your day. And guys, you could check out there's gonna be on your screen another video for you to check out another episode. Go check it out. And thanks for joining us today. To have a beautiful rest of your day.
Okay, thank you.
All right. To have a beautiful rest of your day, Victoria.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.